If you have lived many years and still feel lost, listen closely. You are not running out of time. You are finally arriving. My friend, perhaps you are 60, perhaps 70, perhaps more, and perhaps in the quiet hours when no one is watching, you look back at all the years that have passed and you wonder something you never say aloud. What was mine? What did I choose for myself? You gave so much. You built homes. You raised children. You showed up for work every single day. You carried families on your back. You held others together when they were falling apart. You provided. You protected. You performed every role that was asked of you, and you did it well. But now, in this chapter of your life, there is a question that sits heavy in your chest. Who am I when I am not needed? What is left when the obligations have ended? You see younger people beginning their lives, starting careers, falling in love, chasing dreams, and you feel something you cannot name. Not quite envy, not quite regret, but something close to both. You wonder if it is too late. Too late to find peace. Too late to matter. Too late to become whole. My friend, I want you to stop for a moment. I want you to hear something that no one may have told you in a very long time. You are not behind. You are not finished. You are standing at the doorway of the most important chapter of your life. I know this feels impossible to believe. I know you are tired. Tired in a way that sleep does not fix. Tired of pretending you have it all figured out. Tired of wondering if anyone sees what you have carried all these years. I see it. I see the weight of the decades you gave away. I see the dreams you set aside because someone else needed you more. I see the parts of yourself you forgot because there was always someone else to take care of. You have carried others for so long. You built lives that were not your own. You gave your time, your energy, your days. And now you stand here, perhaps confused, perhaps wondering what comes next. Let me tell you what I see when I look at you. I see someone who loved deeply, someone who showed up, someone who stayed when it would have been easier to leave, someone who gave even when the cup was empty. That is not failure, my friend. That is devotion. But devotion does not mean you were meant to disappear. And now, in this quieter season, something is calling you back to yourself. Not the self you thought you should be. Not the self the world demanded. But the self that has been waiting, patient and quiet, for you to finally turn around and notice. You feel the years passing. You feel time moving faster. And in that feeling, there is fear. But what if the fear is not telling you that you are running out of time? What if it is telling you that it is finally time to arrive? You are not too late, my friend. You are exactly on time. This moment, this breath, this quiet confusion you feel, this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the truest chapter you have ever lived. And I want you to carry this with you as you move forward. You are not broken. You are not less than you were. You are standing at a threshold that most people never reach, the threshold where you finally get to ask yourself, not what the world needs from you, but what your soul has been waiting to give you. So take a breath, my friend. You are not running out of time. You are finally arriving. My friend, let me explain something. The confusion you feel is not random. It did not appear out of nowhere. There is a reason why this chapter of your life feels so disorienting. And understanding this reason will help you see that what you are experiencing is not collapse. It is transition. For most of your life, the world measured you by what you could give. Your worth was tied to your usefulness. Your value was found in your productivity. You woke up each morning knowing exactly what was expected of you. The job, the family, the obligations, the responsibilities that never ended. And you gave and gave and gave. You built a career. You raised children. You held marriages together. You showed up for aging parents. You carried communities on your back. You became the person everyone could count on. And somewhere in all that giving, you forgot to ask a simple question. Who am I when no one needs me? Because, my friend, that is what has changed. The job ended, retirement came, the children grew and moved away. The obligations that once filled every hour of every day, they shifted, they lightened, they disappeared. And suddenly there is space, empty space, quiet mornings with nowhere you have to be, afternoons that stretch long with nothing that must be done. And in that space you feel something you cannot name. Not quite relief, not quite grief, but something in between. You look around and you wonder, now what? The rhythm you lived by for decades. Wake up, perform, provide, prove, it is gone. And without that rhythm, you feel lost. This is not weakness. This is what happens when we spend our entire lives becoming what the world asked us to be. And then one day, the world stops asking. The Buddha understood this deeply. He taught that we spend our lives clinging to identities that were never truly ours. We cling to our roles, our titles, our purposes. We say, I am a teacher, I am a parent, I am a provider. And we believe that these roles are who we are. But they were never who you were, my friend. They were what you did. And now, in this quieter chapter, the clinging becomes visible. You see how tightly you held onto the idea of being needed. You see how much of your identity was built on being useful. And when that usefulness is no longer demanded of you every single day, you feel the ground shift beneath your feet. You wonder if you still matter. You wonder if your life still has meaning. You wonder who you are supposed to be now. And here is what I want you to understand. This confusion is not proof that something is wrong with you. This confusion is proof that something is beginning. For the first time in decades, you are not being asked to perform a role. You are not being measured by what you produce. You are not being valued for what you give. You are simply being asked to be, and that terrifies you because you have forgotten how. But my friend, this is not punishment. This is not misfortune. This is invitation. Life is inviting you to release the identities that were never truly yours. To let go of the roles that kept you busy but never made you whole. To stop performing for a world that no longer requires the performance. This empty space you feel is not a void. It is possibility. It is the clearing that must happen before something new can grow. And yes, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, it feels uncertain. Yes, there are moments when you look in the mirror and do not recognize the person staring back. But this disorientation is sacred, my friend. It means you are finally stepping out of the life you built for others and into the life that has been waiting for you all along. The Buddha called this suffering, the suffering that comes from attachment. But he also taught that this suffering is not permanent. It is a doorway. And on the other side of that doorway is freedom. So if you are confused right now, know this. You are not failing. You are not falling apart. You are waking up. And waking up is never comfortable, but it is always, always worth it. Now, my friend, I want to share something with you. Something the Buddha understood thousands of years ago. Something simple. Something we forget in the noise of our lives. This moment is all we ever have. Not the years behind you. Not the years ahead. This breath. This morning light. This quiet cup of tea in your hands. This is it. This is all any of us ever truly possess. And here is what most people never understand about old age. It is not the end of purpose. It is the beginning of clarity. When you were young, you chased. You ran after promotions, approvals, achievements. You proved yourself again and again to a world that always asked for more. You performed, day after day, year after year. You became what was expected. You did what was demanded, and now you can finally live, not for anyone else, not to prove anything, not to become something you are not already. Just live. My friend, listen closely. The wisdom of this moment is not about adding more to your life. It is about releasing what was never yours to carry. Focus in this chapter means letting go. Let go of who you thought you should be by now. Let go of the battles that no longer matter. Let go of the comparison, the competition, the endless need to prove your worth. Let go of the noise. Let go of the voices that told you your value was in what you produced. Let go. And when you release all of that, when you finally set down the weight you have been carrying for decades, you will discover something beautiful. What remains is enough. The morning light streaming through your window, that is enough. The kindness you can still offer to a stranger, that is enough. The peace you can finally choose for yourself, that is enough. The few people who truly see you, who know your heart, that is enough. You do not need more. You never did. You just needed permission to stop chasing what the world said mattered and start honoring what your soul knows is sacred. This is not loss, my friend. This is liberation. When you were young, life was about accumulation. More success, more recognition, more proof that you were worthy of taking up space in this world. But now, life can be about presence. Being here, fully here, in this moment, in this breath, noticing the way the light falls across the floor, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, tasting your food slowly, gratefully, sitting in silence without needing to fill it. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from wanting what we do not have and fearing we will lose what we do have. But in this chapter of your life, you have the chance to break that cycle. You can stop wanting what you do not have. You can release the fear of losing what you do have. You can simply be. And my friend, when you learn to be present with what is, right here, right now, you discover something most people spend their entire lives searching for: peace. Not the peace that comes from finally achieving something, but the peace that comes from realizing you do not need to achieve anything more to be whole. You already are whole. You always were. Old age is not the fading of your light. It is the clearing of everything that blocked you from seeing that your light was always there. So focus on this moment, this breath, this day. Let go of the rest. It was never yours to hold anyway, and in the letting go, you will finally discover what it means to live. Not for yesterday, not for tomorrow, but for this quiet, sacred, irreplaceable now. My friend, now I want to tell you something important. This path is simple, but it is not always easy, because not everyone will understand what you are choosing. So I want to protect you. I want to guard this new chapter before the world tries to pull you back into the old one. First, and most important, do not let the world tell you that your value ended when your productivity ended. You are not a machine. You are a soul, and your soul does not age. It deepens. The world will try to measure you the way it always has, by what you produce, by what you accomplish, by how useful you are. But that measurement was always a lie. Your worth was never in what you did. It was always in who you are, and who you are does not diminish with time. It clarifies, it ripens, it becomes more fully itself. So when the voices come, and they will come, telling you that slowing down is giving up, that rest is laziness, that choosing peace over productivity makes you less than, do not believe them. You are not giving up, my friend. You are waking up. There is something else you need to know. Not everyone will understand this awakening. Some people will be uncomfortable with the choices you are making now. They will ask why you are not busier, why you are not doing more, why you seem content with less. Some will say you have lost your ambition. Some will say you are wasting your remaining years. Some will worry that you are depressed, withdrawn, fading. They are wrong, but they will not always understand that they are wrong. Because they are still living in the world you are learning to leave behind. The world that says worth equals productivity, that rest is weakness, that silence is emptiness. You know differently now, so protect this awakening. Guard it quietly. You do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace. You do not need to justify your desire for simplicity. You do not have to defend the life you are finally building for yourself. Move through this chapter with quiet confidence. Let your choices speak for themselves. And remember, my friend, that the people who truly see you will not question this path. They will recognize the lightness in your eyes, the ease in your breathing, the gentleness you have found. Now, here is the practical truth. Focus is a daily choice. Every morning, you wake up and you decide what matters. Not what mattered yesterday. Not what the world says should matter. But what actually brings you peace, presence, and purpose in this moment. Some mornings it will be the walk. The simple act of moving your body through the world, feeling the air, noticing the light. Some mornings it will be the silence. Sitting with your tea, no rush, no noise, just you and the quiet. Some mornings it will be the gratitude, naming the small things that hold your life together, the roof, the warmth, the breath in your lungs. Some mornings it will be the presence, being fully here with whoever is in front of you, listening, seeing, caring. These are not small things, my friend. These are the things that matter most. And everything else? Let it fall away. The endless news that makes you anxious, let it fall. The comparisons to people who seem to be doing more, being more, achieving more, let them fall. The guilt about not being who you used to be, let it fall. The fear that you are running out of time, let it fall. Each morning, choose what remains. Choose what is real. Choose what brings you back to yourself. This is not selfishness. This is survival. This is wisdom. This is the only way to live a life that is actually yours. So walk this path with care, my friend. Protect your peace like it is sacred, because it is. Guard your time like it is precious, because it is. And do not let anyone convince you that living simply, slowly, intentionally is somehow less than living loudly, quickly, impressively. You have spent enough years living for others. This chapter belongs to you. My friend, I want to tell you what is coming, not as a promise, not as certainty, but as something I have seen happen again and again in those who choose this path. A time will come, perhaps soon, perhaps already beginning, when you will feel lighter than you have felt in years. Not because your body is younger, not because your circumstances have changed, but because your spirit is finally free. Free from the weight of who you thought you should be. Free from the endless performance. Free from the need to prove, to chase, to become. You will sit in silence one morning, and instead of feeling empty, you will feel whole. You will look at the sky, and instead of wondering what you are missing, you will feel grateful for what is here. You will stop searching for what was never lost. Because, my friend, nothing was ever lost. You were always whole. You were always enough. You just forgot for a while because the world convinced you that wholeness was something you had to earn. But you do not earn wholeness. You return to it. And that return is what is coming for you now. Listen closely. You are not too old to experience peace. You are not too late to find meaning. You are not behind in some race that you were never meant to run. You are exactly on time, exactly where you need to be. Standing at the threshold of a chapter that most people spend their entire lives avoiding because it asks them to stop running and finally be still. But you are ready for this stillness. You have earned it, not through productivity, not through achievement, but through the simple act of living, of surviving, of showing up day after day, even when it was hard. And now, in this quieter season, you get to receive what you have always deserved: rest, peace, presence, freedom. A time will come when you wake up and you do not immediately reach for worry. When you drink your tea and you actually taste it. When you sit with someone you love and you are fully there, not half present, not planning the next thing, just there. When you notice beauty without needing to capture it or explain it or do anything with it at all. This is not a small thing, my friend. This is everything. And it is coming for you. Not because you have done everything right, but because you have finally stopped demanding that life be anything other than what it is. There is something else I want you to know. Life is not ending. It is beginning again. And this beginning is quieter, yes. Gentler, yes. But it is also truer than anything that came before. Because this time, you are not living for applause. You are not building for approval. You are not performing for an audience that was never really watching anyway. You are simply being. And in that being, you will discover a richness you never knew existed. The richness of a conversation that matters, the richness of a morning that belongs entirely to you, the richness of a life lived at your own pace, in your own way, without apology. So carry this with you, my friend. You do not need to become anything. You already are. You do not need to achieve anything more. You already have. You do not need to prove your worth. You never did. This is your time, not to chase, not to prove, not to perform, but to be, fully, finally, peacefully be. The world will keep spinning. It will keep demanding, it will keep measuring and comparing and rushing forward. Let it. You have spent enough years keeping pace with a world that does not know how to rest. Now you get to show that world something different. You get to show them that a life lived slowly, simply, intentionally is not a life wasted. It is a life reclaimed. So be gentle with yourself in the days ahead. Trust the slowness. Honor the silence. Protect the peace you are building. And know, my friend, that you are not alone on this path. Many have walked it before you. Many are walking it now. And they are finding what you will find. That life does not end when productivity ends. It begins. May you feel the lightness coming. May you trust the unfolding. And may you remember, even on the hard days, that you are exactly where you need to be. Life is working out for you, my friend, not perfectly, but beautifully, in ways you cannot yet imagine. Be well,